Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to answer a question that a lot of people have. Why did God place the narcissist in your life? Why did the narcissist come into your life, select you, or you selected them? Why was the narcissist brought into your life? Well, first of all, the first thing that I have to say to this is God didn't bring that narcissist into your life, okay? Other factors brought that narcissist into your life. So let's get into the factors of why that narcissist came into your life. First of all, you have to look at your circumstances when you met the narcissist. Were you vulnerable at the time? All right. And this has a big, this is a big indicator of why maybe that narcissist came into your life. Because narcissists love to target vulnerable people. Why? Because they know they can manipulate them. They know that they're going through something. I know me personally, a narcissist, he targeted me because it was a vulnerable time in my life. And I had gotten, I had told one of my friends about it, and I'm like, I just can't believe I let this person come into my life, be able to manipulate me. And he said, well, number one, you didn't know what you were dealing with at the time. And number two, you were vulnerable at the time. So I want you to look back at when you met that narcissist and ask yourself, were you vulnerable at that time? Were you lonely at that time? Were you going through something at that time? Maybe you're a single parent. Maybe you had got out of a bad relationship in the past and, you were seeking love and you were seeking someone who was kind and warm and gentle. And this is what happens, all right? Narcissists, they are very good at analyzing people. So they have sized you up. They have studied you. They have studied your social media to see what kind of person you are. They look at the type of pictures you post on social media. Number one, they want to see if you have money. Number two, they want to see if you have a lot of friends. They want to see, what you post, what you don't post, gives them insight to where your head is at. So a lot of times that narcissist studied all these things before they even targeted you, okay? Or they could have just targeted you because they were lusting after you, and they were just after maybe a sexual thing as well. So they could have been lusting after you, or they could have been looking for a place to stay, or they could have been looking for money. All right, there's a lot of different factors of why that narcissist came into your life. But it's not, God did not bring that narcissist into your life, all right? You have free will in this world. Everybody has free will in this world to make their own decisions of how they want their life to go. But a lot of times we allow a narcissist into our lives because we're missing something, all right? We're missing something within ourselves. And the narcissist swoops in, all right? They come on in and they try to fill the void within you. And this is what it is. They try to, be your hero, be your savior, be the person that's supposedly going to make you happy. They're your soulmate. They love you unconditionally. They'll do anything. They'll never leave you. The two of you are meant to live forever, okay? And because you want that so badly, a lot of times you believe it, even though they may come off as inauthentic or fake. All right. I know when I was dealing with one of the narcissists that I dealt with in the past, I could feel that he was fake. Okay. I could feel that he was fake, but yet I wanted to see where it went because it felt so good. It felt so good when somebody's giving you flattery, when somebody's going out of their way to try to help you. So most of the time, people don't want to just throw that away and say, oh, I don't want to deal with this, because you want to see, are they real or are they not real, right? And that's where you have to test the fruits. And see, this is what a lot of people don't do. They just go in with a blind eye and just, they want to believe that the narcissist is real, that they're telling the truth, that they really care about you. But 99% of the time, it's all contrived, it's all an act, it's all manipulation. So you, because you were maybe vulnerable at the time, went with it. Okay, that could be one reason why you ended up with the narcissist. And also, the other reason too, you guys, is that you didn't know the game. Hello, you didn't know the game. And this is why I'm here. This is the whole reason I went into podcasting, was because I personally was a victim of the game. And I didn't like what was going on out there in the dating world, the relationship world. I saw a lot of people get played and dealt with narcissistic people. I mean, I dealt with narcissistic people all around the board in my life, whether it was family, whether it was in my marriage of over 13 years. And I was also out there, dating in the game as well. So, dating, before I got married, dating after I got married. Let me tell you, I've seen and dealt with a lot of cats. All right. That's why I know what I know. All right. And that's why I'm trying to teach you guys. But one of the things that I want to tell you with all of this is that if you got involved with the narcissist, right, you may have been vulnerable, but also you didn't know the game. And what do I mean by the game? What am I talking about the game? Well, of course, we know the game is love bombing. Then it's gaslighting. They gaslight you to confuse you, make you feel like you're the problem. They blame shift you, always make you feel like it's your fault. They call you crazy. They use the mental card. They disappear, then they come back. They ghost you, then they come back. They give you excuses. This is all the game, you guys. This is all the game. But what I'm here to tell you is that when you know the game, all right, if you listen to my podcasts, and especially some of my earlier podcasts where I really get into all these different ways to spot the game, spot the player, and all these other things, you're going to be able to understand, and you're not going to get played by a narcissist, all right? So when you know the game, guess what? That narcissist is dead in the water, because now they can't do anything with you. They can't manipulate you because you see right through them. Because when you've studied gaslighting, and I always tell you guys, gaslighting is very important. That's key. When you spot gaslighting, you're going to know right away you're dealing with a toxic person. Period. Dot. End of story. When they start with the, oh, I really don't know, or I don't remember what happened yesterday, or you're crazy, or, it didn't happen like that. You automatically gonna be like gaslighting. Even now, I know gaslighting so well. I could spot it the minute that somebody gaslights me. I know automatic toxic. I'm dealing with a toxic person. They're trying to deflect. They're trying to gaslight. They're trying to make me question what's the truth. All right. No, not today, Satan. Not today, Satan, because I know the game. I know the fucking game better than you, and I will run circles around you, okay? And this is what narcissists can't hate, because when you call a narcissist out for gaslighting or something like that, they are automatically going to run, call you crazy, and run, all right? But good, let them run. Let them run. It's because you're too strong. You're a threat. They can't play you anymore, all right? Because you know the game. So the point in this whole podcast is to explain to you that God didn't just say, oh, I'm going to throw a narcissist in your life. No, it didn't happen like that. It did not happen like that. A lot of times people get entangled with narcissists because, like I said, you were vulnerable. Maybe you were lonely. Maybe you were looking for love. Maybe you were looking for marriage. You wanted to have the things that most people want to have in this life. You want to be married. You want to have children. You want to have a beautiful family. And you came across a narcissist who has malintent. Understand this. Narcissists have malintent. Their intent is not the same as yours. All right. They're manipulators. They're users. They want to use people for their benefit, temporarily till something better comes along. This is the narcissist. All right. But you have to understand narcissism. All right. Because there's narcissism in relationships and romantic relationships, and there's narcissism, let's say, in family relationships or with coworkers or friends. So it's a little bit of a different kind of mixed bag. Yeah, a lot of them use the same type of tactics, but it's a little bit of a mixed bag. So the point I'm trying, like when you come in contact with narcissists in your family, that is not something that you can control. All right. You were born into a family. You may have had a narcissistic father, a narcissistic mother. You can't change who you're born in, what family you're born to. That's just a fact. You just can't change that. You have to just accept the fact of, what is. But it doesn't mean you have to allow yourself to be disrespected by anybody just because they're family. You have to respect yourself first. So understand this. Family is not always blood, okay? Because sometimes you have family that are demons. Yes, I know it's hard to believe and very, very hard to believe that you could have family members who have demonic spirits within themselves. They have gone to the dark side, these people, all right? They have gone to the dark side. They don't have love for you. A lot of times they have jealousy. They have that spirit of Cain, where Cain was jealous of his brother Abel. That's what they have inside themselves. So family or not family, you go by how somebody treats you. How somebody treats you tells you how somebody feels about you. And I'm not just talking about the fake, inauthentic love bombing or anything like that. You've got to vet these people out. You always got to look at the timing of things. That's the beginning of a relationship. Of course, they're going to be nice. It's the beginning of the relationship. That doesn't mean shit. You have to give it time to see this person in all different walks of life, sad, happy, depressed, with money, without money, when they're angry, or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to really know what they're about. So the thing is, the narcissist, they came into your life and, they filled that void for you. All right. God didn't say, narcissist, you go into their life or whatever. But what I will tell you is this. After dealing with a narcissist, you're going to come into your own. You're going to be stronger than you've never been strong before. All right. How do I know? Because I am that person. I am speaking from first-rate experience, okay? I was a person who, doubted myself, who didn't trust myself because I was always criticized, I was always judged, I was always put down, I was always told I made bad decisions, okay? I was dealing with narcissists, critical, perfectionist narcissist. This is what I dealt with most of my life, all right? So then I've studied narcissism inside out, and I've applied it to my whole life, which it's prevalent all over the place in my circumstances, because it wasn't just a romantic thing. It was also, through childhood and through my family life and everything like that. So I could apply it everywhere, and I see it everywhere. So the point that I'm making in all of this is that after you study this, and after you understand the beast that you're dealing with, you will understand that the problem was not you. The problem was that you were dealing with a toxic person. And why do I say that? How do you know that they were toxic? And I'm going to tell you how you know they're toxic. Because a toxic person will always deny the truth. Are you listening? Let me say it again. A toxic person will always deny or dismiss the truth. They will either stonewall you, walk out. They will fight with you and deny that truth by gaslighting you or trying to intimidate you with rage, all right, and put fear into you. They try to intimidate you, the narcissist. Or they will just kind of try to just ignore and dismiss you. That's your covert narcissist. Ignore, dismiss you, and make you completely irrelevant because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to acknowledge they don't want to take accountability. They don't want to acknowledge you're right. And they don't want to face that shame. It's as simple as that, you guys. All right. So the point in all of this is that, you have to look back on your life and you have to say to yourself, were you missing something in your life? And here came this person into your life and made you feel good. You thought that they were going to fulfill you. They were going to make you whole. But here's what I have to tell you. God didn't bring that person into your life. God gave you the power to be whole. It's just that you didn't realize it at the time. All right. But you are going to realize it when you stay grounded in God, because God is going to give you the strength to see and use your discernment with these people. All right. And to not be disrespected by these people. So God advises you to vet out people in your life. But what a lot of people, they don't have the education because they just see what's on TV. They just read what's in the common books about relationships and this and that. They don't realize. And this is something that people realize later on, okay? It's not till you're older and you realize these things. They don't realize that there's good and evil in this world, that there are demonic spirits in this world that will try to influence you and try to break you, break your faith, break God's children, all right? Because you have been deceived by these spirits of Satan. And that's what they are, you guys. They're deceivers. They're just like their father, Satan, the father of all liars. So when you're dealing with somebody who is a liar, you know that you can never trust this person. You know that they don't walk in the truth. And you don't get yourself entangled with somebody like that, and especially in a romantic relationship. Okay? So the evidence was there. It's just that people didn't recognize that the narcissist was toxic at the time because maybe they didn't know the red flags, or they ignored the red flags, or they were vulnerable and they gave them the benefit of the doubt. That's what it is. A lot of people give somebody the benefit of the doubt and they say, well, nobody's perfect. Every relationship has problems. Let me see where this goes. Well, you're going to see where it goes. It's going to go in a bad place because you're dealing with a toxic person who's a liar, a manipulator, a deceiver, a person that doesn't walk through truth. They're not about truth. All right. So, it's like if I had to give advice to somebody about looking for somebody in this life, like if I were going to give advice to my kids or my daughter or something about finding somebody, I would tell them, you need to vet this person out. You've got to look at their fruits, all right? You will know them by their fruits. Their fruits are, what did they have to show for their life? How did they live? That tells you who somebody is. That tells you what their character is, their behaviors. All of this tells you what they are. But yet, you guys, so many people ignore these things. They ignore these things. They may get involved with a narcissist who has addictions to drinking, pornography, they may be promiscuous and stuff like that. They might have all these kind of things from their past and everything like that. And they think, they're going to change to the narcissist. And all of a sudden, they're going to want to be in this monogamous relationship. No, my friends, it doesn't work like that. Okay. A leopard doesn't lose their spots. And that's the same thing. A narcissist doesn't change. I've yet to see a narcissist change. And I've lived a long time. Okay. I've lived a long time, and I've seen old narcissists. I've seen young narcissists. I've seen narcissists all around the board. All right. Yet to see them change, because this is their character. You're not going to change a snake's character. You're not going to change a snake's character because they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. All right. So if they can't see anything wrong with what they're doing, you can never change. These people will never change. And plus, they don't have to change. All right. A lot of narcissists in today's world, there's plenty of supply. They don't have to change. So they could do what they want. That's a big problem. That's why a lot of relationships don't work out, because there's plenty of supply. All right. So it's about, supply and demand. I always talk about that in my older podcasts. There's plenty of supply. So the narcissist doesn't have to, They don't have to alter themselves. They figure, it doesn't work out with you. I'll find another one that fills what I need, right? But listen to me and listen to me good, all right? In a nutshell, I'm going to cap this off and by saying this. You have to be focused in life, all right? You have to be focused in life. And the sad part is a lot of times you don't get this kind of wisdom till after you've been through trauma, not even necessarily trauma. After you've been through life experiences, you sharpen your senses. You've had experience with dealing with different types of people. So when you come in contact with this type of person, you could spot them right away that you're dealing with a snaky narcissist. So what you have to do is you have to sharpen yourself, and you have to, you've got to vet these people out. And like I said, I have a podcast that I'm going to drop for you guys that I talked about how to vet the narcissist out. So understand, God didn't bring that narcissist into your life. That narcissist was brought into your life because either you were lacking something or the narcissist manipulated you and you didn't know the game at the time. All right. But forgive yourself. You had no way of knowing. All right. You had no way of knowing. So you did the best with what you could with what you knew at the time. That's it. All right. And you have to let it go. But understand that shit will never happen again. You'll never let another toxic person in your life or disrespect you again. Okay? Because you value yourself. And you're not about to let any of these snaky narcissists use their manipulation tactics to try to take you down. All right? And like I said, I will show you how to do that because I've done it all. All right? I've dealt with a real snaky covert narcissist, 3 years in court, nasty, nasty divorce. All right? And then 7 years later, I went back to court and, I pummeled him. When I went to court in the beginning, I didn't know what, I was going into a shark's tank. I was like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I figured, okay, we're just going to get divorced. Ooh, was I in for a rude awakening? Okay. Ooh, all right. I mean, I'm not going to go into all of that because that's a whole other podcast about divorcing the narcissist. But not just that, just also being scapegoated as well and everything like that. But now that I understand narcissism and I understand, these mind games, I could spot it all over the time. So, as a matter of fact, I just called somebody out for it, that was close to me. And now they had to run into a silent treatment because they couldn't handle the fact that I was too strong. And I called them out for their gaslighting. So this is what they're going to do. They're going to run, they're going to hide because you're too strong. But that's okay. That's okay. The point is you're respecting yourself, all right? They're not getting over on you. They're not treating you like a jerk. So God didn't do this. It was the fact that you didn't know at the time, all right? But through all of this, you have become out a stronger person, a wiser person, because your pain becomes your strength. And like I said, I am living proof of that. That's why I could preach that, because I'm trying to help people so that they never go through what I went through. Okay? So the bottom line is this, you guys. You live, you learn, okay? And that's all part of life. That's all part of the journey that you go through in this life, all right? You're going to have good people and you're going to have bad people, and you're going to have to vet out to see who you can and can't trust. And you'll be able to know who you can trust in time. It takes time to, trust is earned over a period of time. So I think I preached enough today to you guys, all right? I hope that helps you. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast. If you're looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askyaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. If you're looking you need clarity, you don't know if you're dealing with a narcissist, what kind of a narcissist they are covert, overt, malignant, grandiose, and, they're causing confusion in your mind. You don't know what to do, and you need advice. You need clarity. Check out the link in the bio. Also, check out my YouTube with over 6,000 videos at the Game Exposed podcast. I lay it down on YouTube. Check out my Instagram at the Game EXP123. TikTok is the Game Exposed, and Facebook for now is the Game EXP777. And have a great day.